Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back. And welcome back, No Contact Army. Have you been a good soldier? Well, I have an email here from someone who was a very good soldier, and you know what? She wasn't even in the No Contact Army. So how about that? And if you would like to enlist in the No Contact Army, it's very simple. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button and you're in. And if you want to check out the No Contact Army manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before purchasing the book. So I have an email here from a woman who was broken up with, and she did everything right. So I'm going to go through her email, comment on it, and let's go. So she starts with, I was dating my boyfriend for just over a year when he decided to discard me by email. Okay, can we please stop using that word discard to describe ourselves or to describe yourselves, because I don't use that word. That's very disrespectful toward yourself and very unloving, okay? Don't use that word. I don't care if everyone's using it. He broke up with you. He ended the relationship. He did not discard you, okay? Continuing on. Oh, and also, okay. So the reasons he gave me were so lame. He said it was with a very heavy heart he had to express this in an email. Aww. But he wasn't cut out for our relationship, whatever that means. He said some BS about how he treasured our time together. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't know what love was. Oh, God. Even though he had multiple times told me he loved me and he couldn't pretend anymore. He said he wanted me in his life, but not in a romantic sense. Mind you, we were both newly divorced, 5 kids between us, and he was very unclear about what he wanted at times. What was clear was that he kept me in the dark about it. Okay, so then was he clear or unclear? Because you say he was unclear about what he wanted, and then you say that he kept you in the dark. So he was clear about the fact that he was unclear. Is that clear? Okay, and I've never been so caught off guard in my life. I was not only heartbroken, but furious that he broke it off the way he did. How dare he? Yes, I agree. How dare you? That's what really fueled my no contact stance. Yes, he actually did you a favor by breaking up with you via email, because that helped you in your no contact. And she did exactly what I tell people to do when they've been broken up with via text or email. In fact, I did a video on what to do if you're broken up with via text, which also applies to email, and you'll see that in a second here. I was clear about my expectations from the start, not into casual dating, want something amazing because my marriage wasn't. In other words, if he wasn't on board, I didn't want to waste my time, so he knew this from the start. I understand that, and he was probably on board too, but then, as you'll find out, things happened which pulled him away. He said he wanted me in his life, but as a friend. Yeah, right. He also asked me to contact him after I calmed down from being angry. Ooh. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, boy. Okay. This is getting juicier. Okay. I said, no way in my mind. Exactly. He was not going to have his cake and eat it too. No contact began that moment. I never responded to him. Yes, girl, yes. I didn't call, text, email, or visit him, which is exactly what I say to do when someone breaks up with you via text or email. They don't deserve a response. It's like, wow, you couldn't even see me in person, or you couldn't even pick up the phone to talk. You're going to email me, you coward? No, you don't get a response. He texted me for a few days asking if I had seen his message. Yes, this is what usually happens. But I didn't acknowledge the questions. Then he said he was getting angry because I didn't have the decency to respond. I continued to ignore him. Good. It's like, excuse me? You broke up with me via email and now you're angry? How dare you? Because I don't have the decency to respond? Well, you didn't have the decency to pick up the phone or meet me in person, so you don't get any respect, pal. Now, don't get me wrong, I was heartbroken, and it was unbelievably difficult to not only be dumped, it was a complete surprise, but to not reach out since I didn't understand why. That's the thing. People, they just think, well, I'll heal easier. It'll be easier to move on if I can just understand why. But as you can see, they don't always give you a clear answer. And as I read on, you'll find out that the reasons he gave her were not the real reasons, which is what often happens. So even if you ask for a reason, you may not get the real reason. All I know was that if it hadn't been for my best friend who encouraged me to not respond, I would not have had the clear-headedness to carry it out. Finally, a friend who knows what they're talking about. Now that's a good friend, because often when people tell me that their friend told them to do this or to do that, it's the wrong advice. But finally, someone who knows what they're doing. He went silent for a month, and in that time I cleared everything that he had left at my house, placed his belongings in a box, and had another friend deliver it to him. I erased all texts and emails, threw away cards and letters, etc., blocked him on my phone. I was moving on with my life. I stayed busy and distracted and got stronger day by day. That's when he started going crazy. People can feel energetically when you've moved on. He wasn't able to communicate with me, and he heard via a mutual friend that I had moved on and he needed to stop wondering about me. This made him very upset. About 6 weeks into no contact, and that would be, 45 days, for those of you that know about the 60-day rule. Yes, 6 weeks into no contact, he began to leave little gifts in my mailbox and notes wishing me well. I didn't respond. He sent emails with sweet messages to my work email because I couldn't block that channel. I didn't respond. I was hardcore. You sure were. I began dating again. He learned that, and the emails and notes increased. I didn't respond. The title of this email should be, I didn't respond. After 2.5 months, he wrote me a long letter. So notice how 6 weeks in, he was trying to get her attention, leaving her notes, etc., etc. She didn't do anything. And then more time had to pass until he finally declared himself. So people who are being impatient with no contact and saying, oh, it's been a week, it's been 21 days. Hey, this thing takes time, okay? So rushing it will get you nowhere. You have to be super patient. That's why in one of my videos, I asked people to take the patience pledge. Okay, at 2.5 months, he wrote me a long letter saying he was devastated without me, that he had made a huge mistake, that all he wanted was me back in his life, and for me to please consider giving him another chance. It was much more detailed than what I've described, but for the sake of brevity, that was the gist. I think we all get it. I sat with that letter for a couple of days, all right, and deeply considered whether I wanted to let him back in my life. I was healing so well. I was beginning to enjoy meeting other men, and I really thought I had closed this chapter. But guess what? I was still very much in love with him. He was like no one I had ever met, and I felt I needed to explore the possibility of him one more time. When we met 2.5 months after the breakup, he said the real reason, here it comes, he ended things were because of his kids. He didn't want them to suffer. The ex-wife had been stirring things up with the kids. That bitch. You gotta watch for those ex-wives and ex-husbands. And they resented he and I being together. Yep, that's what it was. He decided that he wanted to be happy and that the kids better learn to live with it. He had the cojones, otherwise known as balls, to stand up for me and what he wanted. Well, it's about time. I mean, he should have done that in the first place. You can't let your kids dictate who you do or don't date. It's your life, so don't let people interfere with who you want to be with. Don't let them come in between you and true love. And though it's been bumpy at times with our kids, things get better each day. Trust me, Lucia, I put him through the paces. I told him what I wanted, a complete wish list, and that he was on probation. Good. We've made it so far, and I can honestly tell you we've never looked back. That was 1.5 years ago, and we are stronger than ever. He has treated me like a queen, and we are making plans to build a life together. He has been a devoted partner and has never wavered on his promises to me. I do want to emphasize at times I became weak. That's why it's so important to have friends, family, and coaches like you for support. Yes, but the right friends and family and coaches, not the ones that tell you to do the wrong things. Be strong, ladies, and I'm sure she means guys too. My boyfriend said that during our time apart, he couldn't believe how strong I was. He developed a deep respect for me, and that's what everybody deserves and needs. Good luck, stay the course, and don't respond until there's something really substantive being offered. So I think she makes a really important point here about the respect that you gain when you show someone that you're not going to chase after them after they break up with you, and you're not going to respond to breadcrumbs, which is why I keep making videos on the fact that you must ignore your ex's breadcrumbs until they say something substantial and until they're humble. Because as you can see, this guy, even though he broke up with her, in an email, he got mad at her for not responding. And people always say, oh, my ex is mad at me. Well, good. Let them be mad. Maybe they realize they made a mistake, and they should be mad at themselves, not at you. So you don't respond until they say something substantial and until they're humble, like this guy, not when they have an attitude or they're angry. Okay, have I made myself clear? This is like the third video I've made on the topic of ignoring your ex, because I want to get everybody on board, especially my no contact soldiers. Okay, so if you would like help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net and we will send you the rates. If you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening on iTunes, I would appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.